Welcome to this little review of Snowlinux. Snowlinux just released Snowlinux 4, which comes also in an E17 version, and this is the version that I want to review in this little screencast. As you can see here, this is the Snowlinux website. As you can see, they released the XFC and E17 release, and there was, I think last week, there was also a Mate and Cinnamon release. This is basically the release based on Debian Wheezy 7.0 with the Linux kernel 3.5. It comes, the XFCE version comes with XFCE 4.10, the Enlightenment version with the E17 stable desktop, so the first release of E17. LightDM as display manager and some theming support, Firefox 17, Thunderbird 17, and some other improvements. If you want to get more or want to know more about E17, you can click on what's new in Snowlinux for E17. You can see it ships with the Linux kernel 3.5. It also ships with an older Linux kernel 3.2 for the 32-bit version. So if you don't have an PAE supported CPU, then you can just simply switch to the older Debian Wheezy based 3.2 kernel for 486 CPUs. And yeah, this is E17, which comes with 3 profiles. The Snow OS 10 profile, which is currently the profile that I'm running here. And then there is, let me just go back. Then there is the Snow Classic profile, which kind of reminds me of Windows 95 or Windows 98 in this case. So you have a bottom bar, and a start menu in the bottom left, and tray icons on the bottom right, and so on. And then you have also a GNOME 2-like profile with 2-panel setup, and yeah, this is basically the 3 profiles that E17 on Snowlinux ships with. All in all, it's, I think, a pretty nice release, and it, in contrast to Bodhi Linux, it's not only based on Debian, but also ships with some pretty nice pre-installed software. So first of all, let's go into the default setup. You have 2 bars, a bottom bar, which is kind of like an, just like a dock, where you can see different icons. As you can see here, my Firefox running with the What's New Snowlinux website, with the little icon in here, and I have some quick launches, just like for example the Enlightenment File Manager, my Firefox web browser, Mozilla Thunderbird as the email client, Audacious, the audio player, Software Center. So it is Debian based, but ships with the Software Center, which is pretty nice. Let me open it up for you. You can see that this is basically a ripoff of the Ubuntu Software Center, but for Debian. Well, it's basically the Software Center that Debian ships with. And yeah, it allows you to just easily install software on your system, which is pretty nice. So I can just go into, for example, Tomboy in here. I can see nice little screenshots in here. I can just see the description. I can just hit on install and it will be installed. Very nice, very handy. They ship with software sources for Debian Wheezy enabled for the main, the contrib, and the non-free. So almost every codec is installed by default, as they ship the GNOME M player as multimedia applications. So just let me go to menu, applications, multimedia. You can see the multimedia applications. Audacious music player is shipped by default, and the GNOME M player media player. I just installed the VLC media player, also via the Software Center, to just see if it is working, and it works quite nice. The GNOME M player basically plays every video and audio clip that you would expect it. Other software sources are their own repository. So Snowlinux also has a repository which gets regularly updates, just like for example the Firefox packages will be updated, I think, very soon to version 18. And yeah, this is basically the software sources under Snowlinux. Then there are some other applications, the terminology in this case. This is the E17 terminal, pretty nice. It has some nice features, just like for example, let me go and find my home videos directory, and you can see here my videos in there. And what this terminal allows me to do is just have a preview of my video, just like for example, I can just hover over this video, I can click it, and then a little preview window pops up, and normally I have the option to just simply I can swipe through. I can see it's playing back, but hit pause in here because otherwise copyright infringement and so on, and this video gets blocked on YouTube, and I don't want this. So this is basically the option that I have right built into this nice little E17 terminal called Terminology. It allows me to preview even video files. It has previews for pictures, so if I have PNGs, JPEGs, BMPs or something like this, I can just simply preview them on the same way, just like you saw here. Then of course the applications menu, the top bar. The top bar called Shelf consists of the menu which I showed you before, normal workspace switcher, virtual workspace switcher, as you can see here with a nice little indicator when you switch. Then you have a tray icon. In this tray icon I can have a normal network manager, just like you can see here. I have my battery status, in this case fully loaded in here, and I have my mixer, which allows me to set different volume outputs, as you can see here, for different stuff in here, which is pretty nice. All the ALSA support is built in here. Also Pulse Audio support is built in here, but Pulse Audio is not shipped with Snowlinux, but you can reinstall it if you want to. Then this little this little light bulb here, light bulb is basically my LCD backlit brightness control. So if I go down here, you won't see anything, but I see my LCD backlight is turning off. And now it's turning on again. So I can also control it via the options in here. The normal backlight 100%, I can set it to 80 or something like this. The dim backlight percentage and so on, fade time and so on. Simply very powerful configurations that you have here. Same goes for the clock. If you click on it, you get a nice little calendar in here with some settings. Just like, for example, I can go and set a 12-hour clock if I like it more with AM, PM and so on. I can set an analog clock. I can set to show numbers of a date, for example. And this is, you see, you have Monday and so on. I can set the start for the weekend or the week, which is pretty nice. And I have a configuration option for my keyboard layout. In this case I have a German keyboard, so I'm using a German keyboard layout, but a special one, a no dead keys one. I can go to settings and set some other keyboard layouts. I can set even the model, and this is very fantastic. You can see I have various different models in here to choose from. Even the OLPC is supported. And I can choose some options, just like, for example, the keys to change the layout. So if I want to switch between different layouts, I can set up key here. I can, perhaps for Mac users, very interesting, choose a third level keyboard option. So I can just go and say write Windows key or write Apple key, write Command and key for third level and so on, which is pretty nice. And some other options, as you can see here, which is very cool. Then of course I can turn off the system, power off, suspend, reboot, hibernate and log out or lock. And yeah, let's go to the applications. So Snowlinux, in contrast to Bodhi Linux, for example, ships with standard software. So you will get under accessories, for example, the archive manager, a file roller in this case. You get an advanced file manager, which is Thuna, so the XFCE file manager, but you will get a pretty good new version, Thuna 1.6.2, which, as you can see here, has now this new left panel, which is divided into devices, places and networking. So if I go into, I can browse networks, of course, Windows Samba shares, no problem, or SFTP, I just type in SFTP. And what's pretty nice in this is that it will automatically then create an entry in my left panel if I just enter this remote machine. And I can unmount this or just go to another directory, and you can see it's still mounted, so I can then just switch to it without just typing in the password again. So which is pretty nice, a pretty good file manager, a pretty good option. Then of course there are some other tools, just like an easy calculator in this case, LeafPad as the default text editor, a root terminal. So if you want to switch to root, remember it's Debian based, so you have also a root account and you can work with it. You have some development tools like the elementary test, which is basically show off for the E17 alignment EFL based stuff, just like for example flipping example. I don't know what to do here. As you can see here, so basic effects that you can see here, and I think there's also some code available for this, so you can see how this works. And there is, if you want to code something, there is the Genie integrated desktop, integrated development environment, which allows you to just simply easily code something. Under graphics, there you have the Shotwell Photo Manager, so pretty basic, pretty good photo management application, which allows the basic photo editing stuff for you. Otherwise, you have also the option, just like go to the software center, just install GIMP or something like this, Inkscape, to just simply have a powerful graphics tool. On the internet, as we saw earlier, Firefox web browser, Mozilla Thunderbird, Pidgin as the instant messaging client, Transmission as BitTorrent client as well, and there's some mail reader and web browser, which is basically, I think, Thunderbird and Firefox again. Multimedia, so I told you earlier, Audacious GNOME Player pre-installed. I installed VLC. Under Office, you have the Abigail word processor in, I think, the newest version 19 something, 192. So for basic text editing, open up Word documents, save Word documents, and so on. Then you have some system tools, just like bulk rename, which is a pretty cool renamer. Comes with Thuna, which allows you to very fantastically rename multiple files. You can insert date and time into those files. You can insert or override something in those file names. You can add a numbering to those file names, remove characters, search and replace characters, or change between upper and lowercase. And you have some other options in here as editing the time. In this case, just let me go to search and replace, and you can search for regular expression and so on. You can change the name, your suffix, and so on. A very powerful tool. So if you have to rename a lot of files, then this tool is very nice, very cool. Then on the system, there is the Enlightenment File Manager again. There's the GDABI package installer. So if you want to install a DAB package that you downloaded, you can just use DAB, the GDABI package installer. There's HTOP. Just let me open up HTOP, and as you can see here, it's barely using a little bit more, about 200 megabytes in this case, and I'm running Firefox. I have Firefox open. If I close it down, I think it should be freed. As you can see here, 120 megabytes. This is just awesome. For a fully compositing desktop, this is running in software compositing mode in right here, currently in VirtualBox, because I did not install any VirtualBox 3D drivers or something like this. As you can see, I have nice effect, just like for example that when I just hover over the dock just disappears, which is pretty nice. The dock is translucent a little bit. I think we see it later when it changes the background, and it's using 120 megabytes. This is just crazy. This is just awesome. Then under system, there are also some other applications, just like IBUS input method framework. If you want to type in Chinese or Japanese special characters or Arabic special characters, you can do this with these IBUS input method framework. Terminology, Thuna File Manager again, and some terminals. What's pretty cool is that it ships with the E17 stable version, which has a pretty nice file manager called EFM, which is pretty basic but has some nice little features. Just like, let me go to the videos here, and you can see that that it is generating thumbnails for those videos, and when I hover over one of those videos, it will generate a little preview, and it will play back this in this pop-up, which is pretty nice. So also very cool. This works also for pictures, so normal image files do work also, which is pretty nice. Otherwise, you can see I have the option to just go to my home directory, desktop, root, temp. I can add some bookmarks in here. I can right click and have the navigate option, which is also pretty nice, so I can directly navigate to a folder. Just like for root, I want to go to user source Linux, and it will then automatically go into this directory. I also have the option to just open up my terminal here, so actions and terminal in here, and now I'm in this in this location. I have the option to sort things, have different different view modes, which is pretty nice. Is the custom icon view mode. Pretty nice. You can move those items around and place them freely. Normally I can place them freely. I have a list view, and I can sort things out. I have some very basic options, just like, for example, inherent parent settings, show hidden files, remember ordering of the files, single click activation if you come from KDE, secure deletion, and some other file manager setting and file icon settings if you want to sort them out in here. So this is basically the file manager of EFM, pretty basic, but does the job. And if you need something more powerful, you have Funa with Snowlinux E17 also included. Settings, let me go just to, oh, it's accept. Just hit recover, and it sometimes just happens that it crashes. Might be a little bug in my VirtualBox or something like this. It's the first time that it crashed actually. Let me go to settings. So you have this little settings menu where you can go to a settings panel, which is basically this heavy looking application with many options. Or you have the option, if you know what you want to change, just go to settings and then all, and then you can just simply go to the option that you want to change. Or you can have some shortcuts, just like gadgets, modules, shelves, themes. So if you have, there are two different themes in here, the default one and the Neptune one. Just let me open up the Neptune one, which looks a little bit more like the Snowlinux E17 3.0 version. As you can see here, a little bit more like KDE-ish, I would say. So this is also available, but I like the normal darkish theme, which looks pretty nice. And yeah, what you can do now is just simply go also to wallpaper, so change the wallpaper if you'd like to. Let me go in here, and what I can do, you can see they ship with pretty much a big bunch of wallpapers. There are some of them I think are from the 17 1.0 release, and some aren't. So let me just go through a few of them. You can see they're pretty good. Pretty nice. So let me change the wallpaper to something cool, light, for example. And you can see then this translucency in the panel here in the dock a little bit. And yeah, what you can do in the wallpapers is also very nice. E17 feature wallpaper is you can, when you go to advanced, set this to be the wallpaper of all my virtual desktops, or only this virtual desktop that I currently am on. So let me just go to desktop 2 and just move it to desktop 2, this window, and I want to set a different wallpaper for my desktop 2. I can do so. This looks cool. Hit apply, and as you can see now I have on my desktop 2 I have this green leaf here, and if I switch to desktop 1 I have again my lantern. And I think 3 and 4 are also the lantern, so I can have different wallpapers in here. Also pretty nice feature, slide in video windows, as you can see here. Now I have only the window title, which is pretty nice. So maybe a feature to replace the show desktop button or something like this, if you'd like it. Then there are some other options, just like, for example, themes. I showed you some themes. You have the option to import some other themes. There's a website called, just let me go search for it. I think E17stuff.org, where you can find more themes, and you can just then download those themes, import them, and hit apply. And then these are basically the themes. You have also some advanced options if you want to customize your theme, if you want to take the background image from that theme, the borders from that theme, and so on. You can just simply customize everything, the hell out of it, basically. Then there are some compositing options. I can set up here some different rendering types. In this case, you can see it's software. There's a reset option for resetting the compositor. So if you get stuck, so if you really are trying to do something, just go first to the rendering and just type in, or just simply look at the reset compositor key combinations so that you won't get stuck. Otherwise, you need to delete the configuration file in your .e directory in your home folder. But this works pretty nice indeed with the default settings in here, so they have good default settings. You can create new personal launchers, so if you have a new application that does not come with a launcher, a desktop file itself, you can create them just by clicking here on add, and you can then just create a new desktop icon here, a new desktop icon. Basically you can choose the icon, the command, and so on. So this is basically this. You have the option to set startup applications, auto start applications. As you can see here, there are some update notifier, network policy kit, SSH agent, and some more. I can set them up and they will show up or won't show up, just like they are configured in the default. You have some desktop environment settings, so if you want to use GNOME or KDE services at login, you can enable them in here. You have some screen options in here. There are virtual desktops, so you can create new virtual desktops. And by the way, which is also pretty nice, I never saw it somewhere else, that in this virtual desktop preview you get really previews, basically, also with the background image set, which is pretty nice. You can set a flip animation for switching desktop. In this case it's pane, the default, so you can see they pane away those windows and so on. Very nice animation. You have some screen setup tool where you can set up your screen. In this case, you can see I have a virtual box screen in here. I have the option to just simply resize this. As you can see, it's a little bit clunky in this case, but you can also right click, I think, or go to the left upper corner. There was some option, I think, to right click or something. You can turn it off and on. But I don't like the screen setup here. But what we can do is just go to preferences, and there's a render, which is a lot better, I think. It also has this view, but it also has the option to just simply set your resolution in a menu with several predefined resolutions, as you can see here, and set the orientation in here. And also, if you have some different monitor plugged in, you can have the option here to enable and disable it and save the layout and so on, which is also a pretty nice tool. So they ship with this screen layout editor, which I would recommend to use and not the E17 one. Then there are some other options. Language, of course, you can set the language in here. Have some advanced options, just like signal bindings. If you don't like double clicking to slide or shade in the window, you want to maximize the window, you can just simply set it up here in signal bindings and event maximize, mouse clicked, and so on. So you can just set it up in here. You have some performance options in here, so you can set the frame rate. This will then automatically somehow will try to use this 60 frames per second, so it will slow down some effects or even disable some effects if it cannot reach this 60 frames per second, which is pretty cool. You have some caches that you can just simply tweak if you like to, but I just leave it to the default because I want the default settings and they're working pretty nice. This is E17, the configuration options, also very nice. Edge bindings are also included, but what's really nice is that you have profiles in here, which is basically what I showed you at the beginning. You can switch between the different profiles, so even if you've chosen, or if the default profile normally loads Snow OS 10, you can just simply switch to Snow Classic or Snow GNOME 2. Just let me switch to Snow Classic. You will see it will change everything. It will also change the background. And it will change other settings, and it will change the panel, and it will change compositing. In this case, this is not composited, and you don't get effects and so on. But you can just easily go again, all settings, profiles, back to Snow OS 10. Click on it, and you're back to your old profile, which is pretty nice if you want to switch between profiles, work profile and home profile and so on, or just don't use different users for your kit or something like this. Just use different profiles, and this profile is also combined with the option to load modules, so extensions modules. Basically, is also very nice and very handy. So I can load and unload some modules in here. Just like, for example, I can load a screenshot module, I can load a taskbar module, I can load a battery module or unload it. So if I unload it, it will disappear from my panel. Has some look and feel options, just like I don't want composite, I can just disable, unload this, and it will then use less memory, of course. This is also very nice. You have some other options, but what's pretty nice, if you want to trim down the system, you don't want to have every configuration options which are available here in the settings panel enabled, you can just simply disable them, because they are also modules. So you can just simply disable all the stuff that you don't want to be configured so easily, so a normal user would not find them, which is pretty nice. Yeah, this is basically Snowlinux E17. I think I've covered almost everything. There are lots of stuff. There are some other video tutorials about E17, which I also showed you in more detail what you can do with E17. One thing that I want to mention is the Everything Launcher, which is pretty nice and pretty good integrated. Just hit Alt F2 or Alt Escape, and it will open up the Everything Launcher, which allows you to just type in an application name, a setting name, or something like, just search for something, and it will then automatically give you give you a list of results. Just like, for example, if I want to start my web browser Firefox, I just type in Fire, it will then bring up the first application that it found, in this case Firefox. I can just simply execute Firefox, but I can also search for Snowlinux in here, and what I can do now is just have the text option here, click text, and then I have, as you can see, under actions, just hit tab. I can do a Google feeling lucky search, Google for it, go to the Wikipedia page, browse in, or even browse in YouTube. If I click on browse in YouTube, you can see I have now a list of search results on YouTube about Snowlinux, and I can just simply then open them up just by clicking, and this will then open up in the default web browser and will play back. In this case, you can see it does not come with a Flash player, so what you can do is just install the Flash plugin installer that's available in the Debian Wheezy repository. But this is basically built in. It's not only this, you also have the option just to, for example, search for in Google or search in Wikipedia and so on. You have the option to search for settings, just like, for example, I want to set my backlight. Search back, and so I have, or BAC in this case, I have the option to set my backlight. I also have the option for, if I have Pigeon running, you can see Pigeon, it can search for the different contacts in my contact list of Pigeon, and I can directly write to them, which is pretty nice, pretty awesome, integrated in here. I can search for playlists in my Audacious music player. So if I open up Audacious, you can see Audacious, this is the GTK2, this is a Winamp-like theme that I've chosen here. I can just simply switch between the views. I think the default view is the GTK interface, which looks like this. So like this, but I really like the old view, the old interface, and the Winamp Classic interface, which can also use Winamp 2 themes. And I can search my playlists in here with the Alt F2 menu. I can just type in play and have the option to just simply control my Audacious player if it's playing or something like this. I have the option to switch to different windows, just like, for example, type Audacious. You can see I have the option to launch Audacious or to switch to the window. As you can see here, if I click on this, it will switch to the window, which is also pretty nice. So it's really the Everything Launcher. It can do everything, and it's extendable via plugins. And I think this is a very important feature that I very like in this E17, and yeah, that I wanted to show you also. So this is basically E17 on Snowlinux 4.0 Glacier, and I hope you enjoyed this little review of Snowlinux E17, and yeah, thanks for watching.